All right. Good morning. We're back. Welcome back to the morning show. It's been a while. There's a lot of stuff that's happened. And turn off. Okay. And yeah. So one thing still hasn't changed though, is that we still won't start on time, apparently. So yeah. So it's good to be back. It was supposed to be like 2 weeks, something like that. I had said we weren't gonna have the morning show for like 1 or 2 weeks in a row, and not much streaming for like at least 2 weeks. And that was like almost a month ago. I feel like it actually was like a month ago. Yeah, so some stuff happened, but we are here. We're back. We're in the new room, and it's great. We just actually got it. If you follow me on social media, we just got it set up yesterday. Pretty much finished setup yesterday. We got foam sound panels on the wall a little bit, so that should help with stuff like that. So they're back there, so hopefully my voice doesn't travel as much through the wall if I get loud. I don't think I have enough though. I think I'm gonna need more. I think I did not realize fully the extent of where my desk was going to sit and where the foam panels would actually show up. Thank you for the resub, Valerie. Level 4 months. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm glad everything just started working. Basically everything worked out of the box with my PC. Nothing seems like nothing broke. I know I have all my good morning, Indigo. Hey. That was my biggest worry, was that like somehow all of my alerts and my transitions and stuff, yeah, new room, a new house, and the board games got moved. We have a lower level now. We have a board game library essentially, because we had like 5 shelving units from IKEA that we had been using, and we were going to put them against the wall down in the basement and put all the board games there. And my wife and I thought we were going to have a shelf each to put in our new offices, so I could have a shelf behind me with some stuff on it. Turns out we needed all 5 shelves for board games. So like you can actually walk into like the bottom corner of the basement we have now, and there's like shelves on both sides of board games. It's pretty cool, but it does mean for the most part they won't be behind me, so now I have to figure out what I'm going to put behind me. But I have a whole room to myself now. I get to do whatever I want with, so that's exciting. And I will have like I will get a shelf of some kind or shelves of something and have some board games back here. You know, probably like the board games I want to talk about in the morning show, things like that. Yeah, I'll definitely get that. I'll get that on. Put that on social media. We have a picture, but I forgot to put it to social media. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. And it's kind of like a temporary situation for that. My brother eventually is going to help me build some like built-in shelves and stuff like that for the board games. So hopefully we can keep them on one wall. I would really like to. Right now I store the board games vertically because it's easier. Awesome. Thank you so much for the resub, Indigo. Congratulations on 4 months for you. But yeah, so I have all my board games stored vertically, like sliding into basically like Calyx shelves from IKEA, and it's really annoying because some board games spill to the bottom. So I would really like to store them horizontally, like they're supposed to be stored, but I also don't want to like pull a board game from like the bottom of a giant tower of board games while like, you know, where you hold the other one, you do that thing where you like try to grab it out. It's annoying. So I would like a situation where I have individual shelves for each board game, you know, even if it's just like a little skinny peg shelf or something like that, and you know, you can slide them in and out of that. So my brother's going to help me build something like that. First, we're building a big old game table. He showed me his design ideas the other day when he was hanging out, because we have a big dining area now, so we're gonna have a big game table, a big wooden game table with, you know, cup holders, things like that, with an insert on the top of it. So you pull off the insert and there's gonna be like a 3 or 4 inch dip in the table with felt that you can put your board games on and roll dice across the table like that. And then when you put the insert back on, it'll be just a flat wooden table for like dining and eating and stuff like that. So he showed me the design idea he has for that already. So that is going to be our first thing. He said that was going to be his housewarming gift to me and my wife. So that's exciting because we need a new table. Our table that we had in the apartment is stupid small compared to the dining area we have in the house. So I'll make sure I post all that project. Yes, yeah, she loves the board games. Yeah, it was funny. So like we were like getting the board, we were getting all the games out of the box. We had 14 boxes of board games, medium, like the medium size IKEA boxes. We had 14 of them filled with board games. We're getting them out. We're putting them in the shelves and stuff. And I was like, well, we need these last 2 shelves, but I'm like, I'm gonna turn them to the other side and I'm gonna pull them a little away from the wall. And she's like, that might look weird though. And then we get the board games in it, and she's like, it's kind of like a board game library. I like it. So yeah, we're both happy with the situation as it is right now. Obviously, like I was saying, like a custom situation would be a lot better. But yeah, she loves board games. She goes to Gen Con with me. She's been to Gen Con in Indianapolis like 4 times, I want to say 4, maybe more. I've been to Gen Con every year for the last 11 years. Yeah, last year obviously was there on, they only did it online, but yeah, she loves board games. She has quite a few that she's picked out and got on her own, things like that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's mostly what we've been doing this last month, was just moving, getting the house. I've heard of Hero Realms, but I don't. Let me see. Is that? Maybe I think of something. Gotcha. I was thinking of something else. I've heard of Star Realms. I think that's another thing. That looks kind of fun. Yeah, we while we were like packing boxes and moving and stuff, she kickstarted a game. I think I talked about it. It could be a sci-fi reskin. I think I talked about it in the very last morning show I did before we moved. Like, we had gotten all of our board games box and stuff like that, and then we both backed a board game on Kickstarter, which was pretty funny because I was like, we're gonna have so much more room when we get to the house. We're gonna have a lot more board games. Turns out we have room, we just don't have shelves for them. But she backed one. It was called Chai Tea for Two. It's a little 2-player only game. She really likes the 2-player only games because her and I just like to play board games sometimes, just like the two of us, because sometimes it's hard to get people to come over and hang out and all that. So when it's just a 2-player only board game, it's gonna play well with 2 people. Whereas if it's like a board game that's like 2 to 4 players, sometimes depending on the type of game and stuff like that, it's really meant for 3 or 4 players, and they kind of just said, hey, it's okay with 2 people. But yeah, and I think I just backed another board game like a week ago. We'll see. Where'd I go? What about where'd I go? Okay. Yeah, so that's so we have 3 board games right now that we backed on Kickstarter. We'll get them someday. I think what else I got. I have hopefully here soon in the next month or 2, I'll get this thing I backed called Dark Matter, and it's a sci-fi version of D&D 5th edition, which I'm really excited for that because I love sci-fi, but some of the sci-fi tabletop RPG systems it's hard to get. I've looked at Shadowrun. I think I have the book of it. I think I had a PDF actually for it once. I got it from a friend. I read a little bit. I like the idea. Yeah, I love the Shadowrun universe. I love the Shadowrun idea and stuff like that. Like those old RTS games of Shadowrun. Not the old ones. I mean, I guess kind of like when they did Shadowrun Returns. Those RTS games, those were pretty fun. I love the universe. The Shadowrun system, it's hard. I think I just find it easier that if they're able to take like a system that people know and make it into something else, because like a lot of people know 5th edition, so it's much easier to be like, oh, this is just like 5th edition D&D. It's just sci-fi. Because I do have I have quite a few systems. Like I've looked at the Fate system. I have the book for the Fate system. I got the Fate dice. That one's fun and interesting. And then I got what is it? City of Mists, which I think is one of the most exciting universes I've seen. That's like not sci-fi. Because fantasy things and stuff like that, it's hard for me to get into. Like D&D is kind of like, I'll do D&D, but I do like cyberpunk and sci-fi and stuff like that a little bit better. But City of Mists is trying to think, it's like based off the World of Darkness TTRPG system, I think, and it's like Lovecraftian superpowers, and it's pretty cool. Everybody gets to be like a superhero. You get to decide like where your like what legend in lore your superpowers come from, and you can kind of like mold your superpowers around that. Like your inner powers or whatever could come from, like, you could say like King Arthur, the legend of King Arthur. So like one of your powers could be that you can form like an energy sword in your hand, things like that. So like they kind of like tie all this lore stuff into the superpowers, and it's really interesting systems in it. I haven't gotten I played it with my friend. I got to DM a little bit of it with my friends, and then like a bunch of stuff came up in our lives, so I didn't really like the setting we made either, so I want to try it again. But like you can like max out your power too. You can use your power, like overload it and like you mark it down that you've overloaded your power or stuff like that, and then you have to have like your character gets consequences and things to the point where that superpower that's based off of like Lovecraft stuff like that gets swapped into Like you lose the superpower and it converts to like a regular person ability. So like maybe you lose the ability to form a energy sword in your hand, but now you are an expert on the human side of it with one-handed weapons or something, yeah, something like that. So like you can actually play your character so hard and overuse your powers so much that you lose the powers and just become a normal person, up until the point where you can form new powers for your person. Like as you overextend your human capabilities, you can then form new. So it's like this very fluid, organic system of gaining powers, losing powers, and just like consequences to the use of your powers. It's really cool. It was also a Kickstarter, so it was one of those surprising Kickstarters. I don't think it got delayed actually that much. With most board game Kickstarters tend to get delayed a lot, but it was everything about it is cool. I just need to get the right setting. Yeah, delayed or just never show up, or things like that. Actually, I've been lucky with board game Kickstarters. I haven't had a board game Kickstarter just not show up. I know some people. Is that that Gorgon MMO? Camelot Unchained. I did hear about that one. Wasn't that an actual MMO that was out at one time and then it got shut down, and then like the developers kickstarted like, yeah. Those were the days. I don't think I think I played it a little bit. I don't think I ever got into that one. Yeah, that sounds about right. Somebody bought it and shut it down. Man, I feel like MMOs nowadays, it feels like the technology is here for them to like start development. A lot of people did. A lot of private servers were big for a while, and then it always felt weird like when a game was midst shutting down or pretty much dead, and then like a company would come after people for private servers that were working. Like, why would you even bother at that point? But yeah, I feel like technology is at a point now with computers and stuff like that, that if an MMO was starting to develop right now and come out, the technology is there to do so much shit, so much cool stuff. But no, I feel like that era of games is just gone. Like MMOs are just not what people are looking for right now for whatever reason. Like it doesn't really matter like how good it is and how well it plays. It's just like no. I don't know if nobody just has the attention span for an MMO anymore, or it's just. Because back like when. Oh, that's cool. That's this one. There's another company, Turbine company that made Asheron's Call, what was it, Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons Online. They said when they were shutting Asheron's Call down that they were going to make that open source private servers, and I think they kind of did. But then they realized, like going halfway in, that code was so old and shitty that they weren't gonna be able to do it. It was like so tied into the hardware of the servers. So I mean, this game MMO, Asheron's Call, is like the first MMO I ever played, except for this really old game called The Realm. It was like early 2000s, like before World of Warcraft. Still my most favorite MMO too. Yeah, no problem. Indigo, thanks for popping back in. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. Thank you so much for 4 months, man. Okay, yeah. I do like Sky Factory. Yeah. That sounds good. All right, yeah. So we talked about a bunch of stuff. So yeah. We got and let's talk about the future stuff too. So I do want to talk a little bit about board game. I got a board game just over there. Can't reach it, but we will talk about it. Yeah, so this week coming up for the Soul Club and me, Grim Method. We don't have any streaming this week still. So I'm not gonna start streaming yet this week, but I still got a lot of stuff to get in. We got so much more stuff to do with the house, and yeah, I have a couple things coming for the room. Right off the start, I got just some LED floodlights. I'm gonna plug them, one there and then one over there, and that's gonna shine lights on the back wall. So hopefully I'll get some color in here, some cool colors to do. But I do have blackout shades right over there. That's why it looks so dark. It is 10:30 in the morning here. But I got one of the biggest things I wanted with my streaming room was some blackout shades, so that way I have complete control over the light. So now I can do floodlights and things back there, and I'll have a consistent like look and feel to to my streams and things like that. That way we can I don't have to worry about like early in the morning on my morning shows like I was in the apartment, and like readjusting my light gain or my exposure or anything like that like 3 or 4 times in the middle of the stream because the sun went behind a cloud or the sun popped out super bright, things like that. I might want to try to get some like sunlight and things in here, but I don't know. It's just it's not predictable, and this light is flickering. Yeah, so for the most part, I'm gonna have it like this. That way, I can have complete control. And then so that's the first thing I'm getting to spruce up the streaming room. Like I said, I might have to get some more sound foam panels. I think like another 2 layers around here would be good. That's behind there, we can't see it. I had some pictures on social media. You can see the current little setup I have for the sound foam panels. And then from there, yeah, I want to get a shelving unit like we were just talking about back there somewhere to display some things. I got this little one right here that you can see a part of. That's mostly going to hold stuff. I'm going to try and get it mostly off camera. But everything's coming together. It's working so far. My PC came back up. Everything's working. I've noticed some issues with my OBS already loading the morning show starting logo animation, so I might have to redo some of my scenes for some reason. There was a OBS update while I was moving, a huge update, so I might have to look at just redoing the scenes. Maybe that'll fix it. Yeah, so we're gonna be back every Monday at 10 a.m. of course. Now that the break is done, the move is mostly done, all that good stuff. So we'll be back here every morning at 10 a.m. And now I have this awesome streaming room that I can set up and I can do my stuff. So we are going to be looking at some other types of things like we talked about before in the weeks leading up to the move. I want to do an evening stream, like a chill stream, where we chat and hang out, similar to the morning show, but more of a mental health type of deal. Make it for people to talk about and hang out, if they just need somebody to talk to, things like that. New chair. This chair just slowly slides back down. Yeah, so definitely going to look at getting that going here. I'm not sure, like I think I was thinking Wednesday or Thursday for that, so we'll see about that. And then probably starting next week, we'll get back into streaming some gameplay streams. So we'll figure out what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll go right back into some Hades again with Twitch integration. Or we'll get back in, or I might get to start doing some of the games that I've been playing off and on, like when I had time and waiting for this move to go through. But we'll see. So that should be next week. We'll get some gameplay streams coming up next week. Yeah. So this week, just if you aren't following me on social media, Instagram @GrowMethod, Twitter @GrowMethod, all that's @GrowMethod basically everywhere for the social media. We'll pop this back up down there. Follow me @GrowMethod, basically everywhere. You can see as I put stuff together and get the room added, and you can see I'll post some pictures of the game library that we have downstairs going with all of our board games, stuff like that. You can see what's going on this week. And we'll talk about more of that in next week's morning show. And we'll also talk about what we're going to be playing. I will know, obviously, by the time we do next week's morning show, what we're going to be playing, things like that. So that's what's coming up in the future soon. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the morning show was supposed to be talked about as well. So the end of the weekend is over, and so this weekend we got this room set up. We got to use the fire pit a couple times, not the weekend, but since last week we did it once, and over the weekend, just last night, we got a fire pit in the backyard going. Had some s'mores. That was fun. And everything is looking good. Sprayed some pesty spray. Hopefully we'll take care of some of the bugs crawling around out there. I do not have a thing to make coffee right now for the morning show, so it is a hot tea type of situation. And I don't know if I'm going to actually put that Keurig back up. I was only using it until I ran out of little Keurig cups, but now there's just not a place for us really to hook it up. We don't have like a guest room situation where they might want just one cup, and it's just, I don't need a Keurig thing. I can just make coffee. We don't need to use all those plastic cups and stuff, but we'll see. I did like having a cup of coffee for the morning show. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so everything seems to be working pretty well in this new house. We do have much better internet, mucho better. Like at the apartment we had 50 megabits down, I think. Yeah, 50 down, 10 up. That was all that was available to us. Here at the house, you're too dark. I know it's too dark. I told you I'm gonna get lights back here. It's gonna light up the room. It'll be great. I have lights over here. They're currently yellow and pink, which does not actually light up that much. I was hoping it would at least show up. I don't think it even shows up. I think the lights in front of here are drowning out the yellow and pink lights up there. You can see a little bit of pink glow on my head. Yeah, we got gigabyte internet here. It's amazing. I'm never going to have an issue where if my wife's on a work call and uploading documents to their office or anything like that, it'll never be an issue. I don't think we'll ever be able to max out our gigabyte line. So that's cool. Because that was an issue that came up a little bit. I'm looking down here at my OBS, and I don't think I've ever seen this on OBS before. We've been doing, let's see, we're at 37 minutes so far live, and I have not dropped one frame. 0.0%. That's insane. So that's apparently the power of gigabyte internet. That's so, I mean, anything below 1% was great for drop frames for me. Because it wasn't, if it's below 1%, it's basically not even noticeable to anybody. But to have absolutely 0%, that's crazy. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of an overview. There's so much has happened since the last morning show. It's really, it seems like all like a blur now. The house delay shit and getting all that in here, getting people in here, hiring people to bring all this shit in, and still somehow being tired all the time, even though I didn't really move anything. I'm gonna throw out 2 bed frames. That was a lot of work. So yeah, and so while we were moving, we're gonna talk about a little bit about, I want to do this, getting bored. I want to make sure that logo still works. So getting bored, that's where we talk about board games and stuff. And I know we talked about board games earlier. That just happens. So I got a new board game. I got it. All right, we got it. This guy right here. What? Yeah. Zoned out. We got this board game. That board game actually showed up while I was actually at on our porch at the new house, and I picked it up, the box up, and I opened it. It was a board game. It is actually when we had the movers here, and they were currently moving 14 boxes of board games in, and I was like, cool, I got a new board game. And they looked at me weird, like I don't think they believed that those 14 boxes were board games. I feel like they just think we just wrote whatever we wanted on them. But yeah, so we got this new board game, Zoned Out. And it's really cool. It's about like cities, city building, city planning, stuff like that. We got a chance to play it just the other day. Friday, actually played it, and it's cool. It's a lot of fun. We played it wrong, which is obviously what we do. any of my board game friends and stuff like that will know that we generally play a game wrong at least 2 or 3 times. And it's mostly because of how many board games we play. The rules start to blend together. You just make assumptions based on rules because it's similar to another board game, things like that. So we played on Friday, and it's very much like another game out there called Carcassonne. And like Carcassonne, you're building a kingdom, and you're trying to make, so you draw pieces, and you only have access to like the few pieces you have in your hand. You play them down. You're trying to make a road around a big kingdom, and the bigger the kingdom, the more points you get. And if that kingdom is connected to like a field and things like that, you get bonus points, etc. There's a bunch of, I've only played Carcassonne online, and it did all the math and all the point stuff for you because it's excessive. There is just a weird amount of bonus points and things like that. So Zoned Out right here is very similar. You're trying to build out your zoning. It's kind of like old school Sim City vibes. So you got reddish pink residential, you got blue industrial zones, and then you got yellow commercial zones. I think those were actually the same colors back in the old Sim City. So you play the little cards that you have from your hand, and you try to make the largest zone, or the certain kind of zones, light, medium, or heavy zones. And you have a little city planner that you move around, and as long as you can keep your city planner in a identical zone, you can keep making it big. As soon as you move your city planner out of that zone, you have to develop it. So you put your houses down, and that's a developed zone. It scores you points, and you move on. Nobody else can do anything with that. So everybody's trying to like zone out this city for whatever they want, whether it be some light, medium, heavy, residential, industrial, commercial, whatever. There's one secret bonus objective that everybody has, and then there's a couple open bonus objectives that people have. And it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. Super it played super easy. Like there's not a lot of meta management in the rounds. Like there's not a lot of, not like 12 different phases in each turn. There's like 4 phases per turn, and then you move on and your turn's done and you build out. And it's a simplified version of Carcassonne, in my opinion. The bonus points are a bit easier to understand, but the concept of the game is the same. So I feel like if I play this Zoned Out a few more times, maybe it's time to get in and play Carcassonne. I know Carcassonne is one of those ones, a lot of people consider it like your first step into like what are real board games. Like when you ask somebody, hey, do you play board games? And they're like, yeah, sure, I play Monopoly and Stratego. And you're like, get the hell out of here, that's not real board games. The first set of real board games really that a lot of people consider is like Settlers of Catan, Carcassonne, and more recently, because those are our older board games, they've been around for a while in like the real board game situation scene, if you will. Recently though, I think the biggest breakout one to get people from games like Life, Monopoly, Stratego, Ticket to Ride is probably one of the most popular like recent entries into like gateway board gaming. And so I put that up there. But yeah, Zoned Out, a lot of fun. I love like the concept of it, and the art style is really cool. And yeah, it might get me to play some more Carcassonne. Yeah, so I'll be excited to play Zoned Out again, hopefully soon. Hopefully we'll play it right. I figured out the rule that we were playing wrong like halfway through our game, and at that point in time it's too late. Points had been given based on playing the rules wrong, so it was one of those situations where I was like, well, we just got to keep playing this game wrong for this playthrough, because that's the only way to get an accurate, so that everybody has points based on the same set of rules. Like you don't change stuff up mid game, because somebody's gonna get screwed over that way. Like somebody will lose out points or get more points because of it. So we just went with it. I did not win. I forgot who won, but I did not win. It's unfortunate. Because I thought I was doing well. I think I got second, but yeah, so that's that. Hopefully here soon. Gen Con's coming up in a couple months. That means more board games. And yeah. Gen Con again this year though, being online mostly. I think they're doing like a hybrid event for Gen Con this year. I'm not going physically to it again this year. I'm going to sit this one out. I am going to get all the online stuff. Yeah, so hopefully we'll go back to Gen Con next year, as long as people don't screw everything up and put us back in a pandemic. But I don't want to go to like a half-assed Gen Con on my return trip back to like Gen Con. Like I want the full experience again. So hopefully that'll be next year. Yeah, so yeah, that's I don't really have much else to talk about in the morning show this time. We should have more to talk about in the morning show next week. Hopefully get a bunch of stuff that's done this week, and the streaming room will look much better next week, and we'll have my lights up, the floodlights in the back that should light everything up and make everything nice. I won't have a shelf in here yet, I don't think, by next week, but that's okay, because I don't know what shelf I want yet. I want something that I can put things on there and display them on there. But I don't know what that is going to be. So, and then here soon, I'm gonna try to switch up to a better, so camera wise, I have the Logitech C900 series. I think I have the C920. And it's a great streaming camera. It looks great as long as you know what you're doing with lighting and stuff like that. But I do also have a DSLR camera that I have had for a few years now. So I think I'm gonna get a cam link, plug it into my computer, and use the DSLR camera and see how that looks for streaming, because I have one already. So I should use it. And that could look a lot better. Maybe get a different angle, stuff like that. So that way it doesn't have to be just like right up there. It could come from like the view from the side, maybe that side, something. But yeah, so that's gonna be stuff that we're gonna be working on in the future. And yeah, and then so this week, just make sure you're following on social media, because that's where all the stuff is going to be this week, because there won't be any gameplay streams, anything like that. But I will post all the stuff that we're doing on social media this week. If we play any board games, stuff like that, I'll make sure I get those pictures in there and whatnot. Yeah, and then I'm going to think about making a situation 2 for this streaming room, where I can do more edited content, maybe for like YouTube and stuff like that, like I did with the Grim reviews, things like that. Because I got a closet over there, and I'm never going to use it for a closet, but I could use it for like, for now, for like a less light studio room or something like that. Put a table in there, get some bright lights in there, and get pictures and record pre-record like gameplay, how to play, things like that, like I was doing. So I might do something like that. So we'll see. We got lots of options now with this room, so it's exciting. And I'm out of hot tea now, so seems like a good time to end it. So that will be it for the morning show. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Thank you again, Valerie and Indigo, for your 4 months resubs. I really appreciate it. And also, I know all of my alerts and shit work. Really, well, at least sub alerts work. And if they work, everything else has to work. So that's great. Yeah. And yeah, sorry it was a freaking month instead of like 2 weeks like I thought. Buying a house is hard. But we will be back again. We'll be back next Monday for the morning show. So make sure you're there for that. And this will be on YouTube tomorrow at like 11 a.m. It's for people that want to watch it then. So we will be back live next Monday at 10 a.m. for the next morning show. We'll be talking more about some more board game stuff probably, and we'll be talking about gameplay for next week, my gameplay streams. If you do watch it on YouTube, it will be next week Tuesday. Again, we'll post it the day after. So if that's the case, it's probably it'll probably be Tuesday next week for the next gameplay stream. So be ready for that as well. And hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody has a good week. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. And we're gonna take off now. See ya.